Hey girl, welcome to On My Mark, your weekly transformational podcast designed to motivate, empower, and inspire to aspire. Yes, in that order. I am your host, Ravimber C, and I'm a speaker by passion, philanthropist by purpose, and a Zimbabwean by tradition. I want to let you in on a little secret. This isn't your typical motivational podcast. This right here is transformational. So join me every Tuesday for your weekly dosage of inspiration. Hey girl, welcome back to another episode of On My Mark. We are on episode number 4. Yes, remember? This is just a 6 weeks limited edition of Unspoken, and just for this season alone, the stories that we have are 6 stories. So today's story will be story number 4. Last week I got a lot of messages from so many young women that actually expressed that they had been through this the same experience that young woman went through in regards to family members taking advantage of them at a young age through this cultural, as we called it, chiramu from a Zimbabwean background. And it was really shocking for me to actually realize how some of these things are culturally accepted and not spoken about, but when we really put them into context, you start to realize that how deep some of these things are. And as the season has been progressing, I actually have a special surprise for you guys for their season finale, but I'm not going to reveal what that is yet. I might, maybe, before we finish or on next week's episode, but just keep tuning in every week because the season finale is definitely something that you do not want to miss. So we're going to get right onto today's episode. So we're going to have a young woman who's coming on this platform to share her experience, or her journey rather, that she went through. And her story is basically based around early marriage. Hi, can you hear us?
Hi, how are you? Yes, I can hear you.
Great. No, we are fine. Thank you so much for coming on my mark and for agreeing to share your story. I have no doubt that someone out there needs to hear your story. So honestly, we just want to thank you for the courage to actually come on and, share with us. So I'm not going to take much time. We're just going to allow you to just, tell us your story. And if I do have any questions or anything, I will be asking you at the end. So whenever you're ready, the floor is yours.
Oh, okay. The first thing that I have to say is education is the key to success. My story goes as I was 14 years old. That's when I started dating. So, when it's new, you find a guy and that guy is treating you nice and is buying you stuff. And I just thought maybe he's the one and everything is going well and stuff, not knowing that I was getting myself into a deep hole. So we started dating and I was in, which is grade 9. I don't know in other countries what grade it is, but we call it here grade 9. Second year of secondary school. Then for quite some months, we were just meeting up, kissing, not having sex until one day we did kiss, we did romance, and he tried to sleep with me. So when I just felt the small pain, I pushed him and I said, stop. So when I got home, I saw on my panties, there was a little blood and I was just this is just nothing. I'm still a virgin. Mm-hmm. The next time we did meet, he tried again and I pushed him again. You see, when I got home, it was the same story. And I'm nothing happened. I can still walk. As I heard some people, they always say, when you lose your virginity, then you can't really walk because you'll be in pain. I never went through that pain at all. So the third time when we met, we tried. And when I pushed him, he already got his sperms into me. So when I did stand up, the sperms just went on the floor, and I was just like, I'm still a virgin, whatever, not knowing that I'm now pregnant. I fall pregnant that exact time. Whilst I was still thinking that I'm still a virgin. So the first month went, and I was going to school, everything was normal, but my skin started changing. I was now looking light and I am smooth. You know, when you're going that teenage time, you have puberty and your face is full of pimples. They were all gone, and I was like glowing, you see, going to school and everything is fine. But the only thing that made me think like, what's wrong with me was I was getting so tired. Even when I'm at home, when I'm watching a movie, when I wake up, the movie is already gone and people are just like talking, and I was already like asleep. I realized first month I did miss my period, and I'm like, what's going on? Maybe people, as they say, when you are like sometimes when you have stress, you skip your period. So I thought that's what's happening to me, because I was still thinking I'm still a virgin, because we never had like normal sex, you see. So the second month I skipped again my period, and I'm asking myself, why is this happening? Then I went to see my boyfriend and I told him, I'm pregnant. You know what he said to me? He said, who's responsible for that? And I was just like, no, I'm joking. I'm not pregnant. Then I went back home. The third month, I didn't go on my periods. Now I'm listening to the stories. When, you know, at schools, they're like group of girls. They were talking like, you need to drink tea. You need to drink mazoe without diluting. You have a miscarriage and stuff. I tried all those methods, and I don't even want somebody to try all those sort of stuff that they hear from people, because one, they are dangerous, and you don't know what if they kill you, because you can get a miscarriage and die, and whatever happens to you. So never listen to what other people say. If you really want to have an abortion, I think it's safe to go to a clinic. So I tried all those mazoe, the coffee, the whatever. I tried all those things, and nothing worked on me. The fifth month, my sister came. My sister was working out of the country. She came. So when I was changing, she saw my boobs and she's like, oh, your boobs, they've changed. You're pregnant. And I said, no, I'm not pregnant. And I got so moody and stuff. Not knowing that my sister already went to tell some of my mother's friend that I'm pregnant. So we went there. Then they talked about it and they said, who's responsible? And my sister said, I know who's responsible. And I just looked at my sister. My sister already knew my boyfriend, but they never allowed me to date though. So we met my boyfriend and he said, it's fine. I can go and stay at their house with him and stuff. He's responsible. So after 2 days, I had to be taken there to stay with my boyfriend. So after like a week, he took money to like my parents. It's like a thing that is now responsible with me. He wants me and stuff. So when I got there, the first week, it was lovey-dovey. I don't want to lie. But one thing, your home is always your home. I did miss my brothers. I did miss my dad so much. And I just felt like this is not me. That's when I realized that I should have listened to my mom. I should have listened to my dad when they say, don't, like, stay away from boys, focus on your education. We said I was getting sick each and every time. But because we were too young, he could not provide everything for me, and he didn't know what, like, when I'm sick with this, what should he do? When I'm sick with this, what should he give me? So at the end of the day, we were just like kids staying with each other. We didn't even have anybody who was older to tell us like, do this. So we stayed together until he said, let me go to Botswana to find a job. Then when he went there, I had to stay alone. Mind you, he was going to look for future, but for future pastures, he's going to look for a job. I'm left where we are staying. We are renting. We have to pay rent. I also need the money to eat, and I'm alone there. So the other night, I'm alone. I really did get sick. And the neighbor said to come. The neighbors would just come and look, and they say, are you better? And they left. But that's when I realized sometimes you need somebody near you that is older to see you then. So the next day, my mom came and she has to take me. And now I had to stay by my mom's place. And after 2 weeks, he came back from Botswana and he came back with nothing. He only came back with a bucket. And I asked him what happened to the things. you didn't even buy anything. He said, oh, the stuff were stolen at the border, which was, I think it was a lie till now. So after some months struggling, we couldn't even afford to buy the baby clothes. My mom had to buy everything for the baby clothes. The only thing he did was the money to register me at the hospital to give birth. I did give birth. My mom did ask me, so what did you buy? I even tried to lie to my mom. We have to go and borrow a set of like a tracksuit pants so that the baby can wear and stuff. And my mother was so mad at me. My mother wanted me to stay away from this guy. And after a week already, because we were still young, we were trying to have sex again, you see, trying to have sex again. And my mother said, I must go on a family planning already. So we used to quarrel a lot, have arguments a lot. People were selling weed. People were selling weed a lot. So he started smoking weed, you see. So all his money was going to weed and alcohol. So whenever we did quarrel, I would go back home. Then when I come back, I'm back. But the one thing I did forget was to always carry my family planning tablets. So I didn't know I'm pregnant again with my second baby. Yeah. My first one was now around 1 year and 9 months.
Sorry. So by this time you're now 15?
By this time I'm now 15. Then I couldn't tell my parents that I'm pregnant again. I couldn't tell anybody. The only person I could tell was him. I told him I'm pregnant and I missed my periods again. And he said, okay, it's fine. We'll fix it and stuff. He went and hustled the other day. Then he stole someone's phone and he was arrested. Mind you, I didn't have anything to cook at the house. And I'm pregnant and I have another small baby. And he's arrested. Yeah, we have to go to the police station to sort all the stories. And the woman that made them get him arrested said the only thing she wants is a phone. In those days, phones were very expensive. It was the starting of cell phones. And it was like a thing to have a cell phone. So the only thing she wanted was a cell phone. We have to go by his cousin, and the cousin has to give that woman his cell phone so that he can come out of the jail. When he came out of the jail, I thought he was changed. No, he wasn't changed. So he was still hustling, doing his thing. We are struggling. We can't even sometimes manage to pay rent. Everything was like sometimes we fight, not only like having arguments, but physical fight. I still remember the other day my dad came to visit and he was sitting and we were like having an argument. Then I took a boiling kettle and when I wanted to throw it to him, my dad did hold the kettle and the water went on to him. Lucky it wasn't boiling. But I was so embarrassed. That was one of the things that I was embarrassed because what if my dad did get bent in the thing that we are always fighting and stuff? But the thing is because I was holding up because I did love my person so much. So I was just like, one day it will be fine. One day it will be fine. We didn't have money to register for my second pregnancy. So I was just always going to church and stuff. So the day when we had to go for our conference church thing, that's when my pregnancy started paining. And I couldn't tell anybody that I'm in pain because my family didn't know I was pregnant. So I had to hold the pain all through the way. So I remember going to helping people to carry the stuff. And she said, come and eat. I couldn't eat because I was now in so much pain because we got there like 6 p.m. And at 7 p.m., they showed us our dorms where we must sleep. I couldn't sleep. I'm like, guys, can you show me at the bathroom? Because I just thought maybe if I go to the bathroom, if I shower, if something happens, then I was just like.
And how many months are you gone at this point?
I'm 9 months.
Oh, so the baby's about to come out?
Yes, the baby's about to come out. Yeah, it was so crazy. So people said, no, it's so dark at the bathroom, so nobody can shower. Said, okay, fine. So I just had to sit. Then I remember somebody took my bucket by mistake. Then I did ask my friend, can you take me to the pastor's dorms because somebody took my bucket. So we were going there. I couldn't walk anymore. I'm in so much pain. Wow. I'm in so much pain. Then I just told her, my stomach is cramping. And she said, oh, are you fine? And I said, because I just did sit down and I just started touching my stomach. My stomach is cramping. And she was like, oh, do you need help? Do you need anything? Let me go call the pastors. I said, no, don't call the pastors. you need to take me away from this conference and take me to the hospital because I'm in so much pain. He said, what is it? And I said, please, let me tell you the truth. I'm pregnant. He said, okay, my mom stays near here, so I can call my daddy to come and pick you up. Then you can go to this house. I'll just lie to my mom that something happened because she thought I'm just having pains. I'm pregnant, but I'm just, and I said, no, the baby is about to come. I still remember, you see, she just stood up and she went into that dorm. She called the pastors that were in there. They came and they lifted me. When they just let me lay, it just happened for like 10 minutes. When I just did lay, there was a doctor, like there was somebody who worked as a doctor and somebody who worked as a nurse. They just like, open your legs. They said push, and they pushed the baby and the baby came out. The baby just came out there. I had nothing. I didn't have any towels or nappies or what. But God is amazing. So when I went back home after 3 days. I was now a mother of 2. Now I thought, I'm done. Now I have a boy. Now I have a girl. So it's fine. Now I'm breastfeeding the girl. I went back home. We are fine now. We have our girl. Things are always up and down. We have arguments. We are, because we were like, my life, it was like a struggling life. We could not even afford to buy a 10 kg of millimil or a 2 liter of cooking oil. Then I'm breastfeeding this small baby. Now I was 19. I'm breastfeeding here. Then something just started kicking in my stomach again. I still remember I went to the clinic because this woman referred me to a family planning thing that they have to put like a jadel. It was called a jadel. It's like a no plant that they have to put in the hand. So I didn't know I was pregnant. I went there and then they said, when was your last period? Because I was breastfeeding, I don't get a period because of the tablets that I was using. So I just said, months ago, because I told them. Then they said, it's fine. They didn't test me like to examine if I should take a pregnancy test. They didn't do all that. Then they just did put that family planning into me. That day when they did put that thing on my hand, my whole body did get swollen. So I just thought, maybe I'm reacting to this thing they did put me. I didn't know I was pregnant. I got home. I did sleep here. I still remember I did sleep the whole day. And now my husband went to work to Botswana again. First months he was sending food, he was sending clothes, sending money, everything was fine. And I didn't tell him I'm pregnant with the 3rd baby. So I'm just staying alone with my kids. He's sending money. Then he just stopped all of a sudden. He just stopped sending anything. He's quiet. You don't know where he is. So, and I heard that thing, like, if I tell him I'm pregnant, he's going to think it's not his baby, because he's like, why do you tell me now when I'm over this side? So I was just like scared. So now I'm pregnant. I'm having these 2 babies, but I'm still like, breastfeeding my baby. This is going to be the most interesting part and the scary part. But I just want to say it because I feel some people are going to learn from this part. So I told my other, like, she was close to me, like my friend, I told her, I think I'm pregnant again for the 3rd time and I can't have this baby. So she said, so what do you think we must do? And I said, I don't want this baby. I don't want this baby. We went to see this lady. And this lady said, you need to come tomorrow and you need to think about this. And I said, yes, I think about it, because telling my parents again that I was pregnant, it was going to be like, I don't know what they were going to do with me, because they were tired of always telling me, like, stay away from this person, stay away from this husband of yours. You are getting used and stuff. So we went to this lady the next morning. She did put me, there was like this pipe, but this pipe was made out of a tree, into my private parts. She did put me that thing, and she said, you must tomorrow, when you feel like more pain, or when you feel something wants to come out, because mind you, I didn't know how many months I was with the baby. Yeah. I just thought maybe it's 4 months or 3 months. So I said, okay, tomorrow when you just feel something, just sit on a bucket and the blood will come out. And I said, okay, fine. I thought it was as easy as that. I didn't know I had to go to my cousin's house. I went to my cousin's house. Now I'm feeling cold. And there's water which was coming water was just coming out continuously, just coming out. And I was like putting pads, and I'm feeling so cold. And I had to say, I'm leaving by my cousin's house. Then I went back to my house. When I went back to my house, I still remember I was so shivering the whole night, like shivering that even if you have 3 blankets, I still remember I have 3 big blankets, but I was still shivering. And my sister said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Yes, I'm okay. It's just like I'm feeling cold. I don't know why." The next morning I woke up, I'm throwing up. Mind you, that water is still coming out. That water is that water that keeps the baby. In the morning, I couldn't walk. I couldn't do anything. The only thing I was doing was throwing up. And I was throwing up like yellow stuff. So the boyfriend said, "Let us take you to the hospital. We went by the hospital. Now I can't tell him, like, that's how I'm feeling, because now I was into labor pain, you see, but I can't tell him now. So I didn't concentrate more on the labor pain because I was throwing up, you see. So when we got at the hospital was full, and you know how are the nurses, they'll be talking, tea break, this and that. I couldn't take it. I stood up from that bench. I couldn't really walk, but I stood up and I did knock in their room where they were having tea. And I told them, I'm about to have a baby now. That was crazy. And they did say, "What? You can't have a baby here." And I'm like, the baby's about to come now. Now I'm also scared because remember the way I was trying to like lose this baby. Yeah. And I thought like they will find out about it. So there was a guy with a car said, "It's fine, we can take you to the big hospital." They took me to the big hospital. I just walked in the big hospital right in the bed and I pushed the baby and the baby came out.
Wow.
Yes. And the nurses was like, "Oh, it's a premature baby." They did check everything and they said it's fine. They didn't even see a sign that I was trying to have a black market abortion. They didn't even see that. Which is, I'm not impressed with that, but I'm just saying this so that somebody can learn from my story that it is a bad thing to do. When I went to see my baby, it was the cutest baby. And I did ask God to forgive me for what I have like done.
Yeah.
And I hope God did like forgive me. But from my story, I just want you guys to learn like early marriage is not the best. Yes, you can fall in love, but not all that glitters is not gold. Achieve your goals. We all have all our goals. I even had I used to say I want to be an air hostess, but because I thought having a boyfriend is something bigger than what I had. Your time will come to date. But I just want you to learn that early marriage is not as good as it looks. I learned it the hard way.
Okay. Well, first of all, I just want to thank you once again for coming on here and for sharing your story. And I think your story was, everybody's story that has shared so far has been important and significant. And I think your story really highlighted some of the things that are happening right now in society in terms of early pregnancy and young people getting pregnant, getting into marriages when they're not ready to. So as you were speaking, I was just making a note of some of the things that you were saying, but first thing I wanted to ask was, your boyfriend, were you guys the same age?
No, he was older than me with 5 years.
Okay. When you were 14, he was 19.
19, yeah.
Okay. And you mentioned at the start that obviously every time he would try and sleep with you, you would push him away the first time, and it's on the second time that he tried again that you spotted a bit more blood again, and I think it's on the third time that you actually then felt that there was penetration because of what you then witnessed after that. I just wanted to ask you when he tried the first time and the second time, how did that make you feel? Was it forced, or was it consensual, or did you just feel like, oh, my boyfriend wants to sleep with me, but I just don't want to? Like, how did that make you feel at the time?
At that time, I wasn't ready to sleep with him. And so that's why every time when he tried to sleep with me, I would push him away. It wasn't something forced. It was not something forced.
Okay.
It was like trying to have sex, and then I stopped it.
Okay. And obviously you said you when you got pregnant the first time, you didn't tell anyone. You didn't tell any of your friends. This was something that you was hiding. I'm wondering, were you hiding just because, not only because you were 14, but you also feel that this is something that wouldn't be accepted within your family?
Yes, and also like thinking, what the society is going to say. You are still at school and you're still 15. And I think I was the first girl where I used to stay in my hood that had like an early pregnancy. You see, whilst I was at school. So it's the thing, like what the community is going to say, what your friends at school are going to say, my mother's friends. You just know, you'll be just thinking like people are going to like judge me and all.
I know some people listening might think that, after the first baby, you would have, one might say you would have maybe learned your lesson, or just, realized that because you guys said you were struggling to even look after your first child. And then obviously you guys then went ahead and had the second child, and you were still struggling, and then led to a third child. If the situation was not ideal and not suitable, then why then did you guys, keep having the baby?
I told you I was using like pills, family planning pills.
So they were not working. The pills were not working.
No, they were working. But remember, I told you when I was by my where we used to stay with him, when we fight, I would go to my parents' house and I would forget the tablets there. You see. So when I come back and continue, then it's no use because I was supposed to take it every day.
Okay, I understand. And I just want to clarify for some people that may have been wondering, when you mentioned this lady that your friend took you to when you were with your third pregnancy, and you said black market, what was the term you said? Black market, I don't remember what you called it, but you called it black market something. To someone that doesn't actually know or can identify what you're saying, are these people common? Is it just normal women that do this, or is it like you have to go to a particular place, or how does it work?
It's just like a normal person. I think these people, like maybe they were mothers, were like witch doctors, you see. Yes.
Okay. I totally understand. Okay, well, before I finish, I just want to ask one more thing, that if you didn't get pregnant, do you think you would have gotten into early marriage, or was it because you got pregnant that you then ended up in early marriage?
I think it would have been different because I would have like focused on my like school studies. I think it would have been different. I wouldn't want that at all.
Okay. No, that's fine. That's fair enough. One thing I do want to say, though, is that obviously everybody's journey is different. And sometimes things happen, and at the time it may not seem ideal. But now I assume you've got 3 wonderful, beautiful kids that you're proud of. And you've got your own loving family. So at the time, it may not had seemed ideal to whoever, but then who's to say this is the ideal way of doing it and this is not the ideal way of doing it? I always believe that in life, whatever your story may be, or however the story shapes up to be, you just have to own that, and be the person that you are now. Do you have any lasting words or any words of advice for any young people out there who might have gotten pregnant at an early age, or who are currently in the situation that you're in right now? Do you have any advice or anything that you might want to say to them?
One thing I would say, if you see your partner is not like responsible, don't try to have another baby. I think have a family planning and wait when the right time comes. And to the people that are still going to school, I would say stay in school. boys comes later, stay in school and have your dream job. You can make it whatever you want to be, like a businessman and an air hostess. Like I always wanted to be an air hostess. You can make it. Stay out of boys. When the time comes, the Lord will make it happen. That's what I can say.
Wow. Thank you so much for those encouraging words. And I have no doubt, like I said before, that someone out there is going to hear your story and they're going to relate to your story and they're going to be inspired by your story and motivated by your story. And I really want to just thank you for the courage for coming on this platform and for sharing your story with us. We really appreciate that. So that brings up to the end of this week's episode. I know you really want some more, but join us again next week because we've got another young woman that would be coming on the show to share her story. And trust me, you do not want to miss this one. Join us again next week as we continue to transform and win. Be sure to subscribe on our website onmymark.co for weekly exclusives and giveaways. Until next time, on my mark, get set, let's go.